What if I told you that Super Mario Bros. Is hiding secrets even Nintendo doesn't talk about? That the most iconic game ever made was shaped by last-minute miracles, office legends, and code tricks that pushed the NES to its limits. Welcome back to Veteran Game, the home of deep dives, untold stories, and the wild side of gaming history. Smash that like button, subscribe for more, and let's jump into the true story behind Super Mario Bros., the legends behind the code. Let's rewind to 1985, Nintendo's Kyoto HQ, Shigeru Miyamoto, Takashi Tezuka, Koji Kondo, names that would become legends, but back then, just a handful of hungry, ambitious devs working on a game that was supposed to be the grand finale for the NES. Miyamoto had just come off Donkey Kong and wanted something different. A game where players could move left, right, up and down, true freedom, not just single-screen action. The team didn't even know if it would work. The NES hardware was brand new. RAM was measured in kilobytes. Every idea felt impossible. Here's a wild fact. Super Mario Bros. Barely fit on the NES cartridge. The devs used every byte. They recycled graphics, hid sound effects inside each other, and even used clever memory tricks to load new levels without a single loading screen. Why does Mario start big? Because it was easier to animate than shrinking or growing him mid-game. Why do pipes look the way they do? Because those rounded corners are just reused clouds. The whole game is a miracle of creative recycling. And then there's the world wrap bug. Yup, the same glitch that lets you skip levels by phasing through a wall. It wasn't intentional. It was the result of Nintendo squeezing every ounce out of the NES. Let's talk legends. Super Mario Bros. Is packed with mysteries. The Minus World, an infinite water level found by kids everywhere, wasn't planned. It was a result of leftover code. The devs didn't even know about it until after launch. And then there are the invisible one-ups, scattered throughout the game as little tests for observant players. Ever wondered why the game's physics are so good? The devs spent months perfecting Mario's jump, literally tweaking the code by single digits until it felt right. Miyamoto would jump over and over, making changes late into the night. But here's something almost nobody knows. Super Mario Bros. Was supposed to have a two-player simultaneous mode, with Mario and Luigi running together. It was cut at the last second because the NES just couldn't handle it. Imagine the chaos. Nintendo's offices were wild during development. There are stories of engineers napping under their desks, of Miyamoto doodling Mario in the margins of meeting notes, and even office contests to see who could speedrun their own levels the fastest. And get this, Koji Kondo, the musical genius, composed the theme song on a keyboard, but only after playing the first level hundreds of times. He wanted music that wouldn't drive players nuts even after endless repeats. Ever caught yourself humming the Mario theme? Yeah, thank Kondo's madness. When Super Mario Bros. Launched, it didn't just save Nintendo, it rescued the entire video game industry after the crash of '83. The Mario formula, tight controls, imaginative worlds, pure fun, became the blueprint for everything that came after. If you've ever enjoyed a platformer, you owe a debt to the code behind Mario. The devs didn't get rich off the game. Miyamoto, he just got a modest bonus. But their creation sparked a legacy. Sequels, spin-offs, speedruns, memes, and millions of players finding secret warp zones with their friends. But here's the kicker, there's still stuff about Super Mario Bros. We don't know. Early design docs suggest levels that never made it in, enemies that were cut, and even power-ups that would appear in later Mario games. Over the years, fans have found unused graphics and unfinished code still hidden in the game's ROM. And let's not forget the ongoing myth of World -1 and supposed secret doors, urban legends that still get discussed in forums today. Nintendo's silence on some of these secrets only fuels the fire. What makes Super Mario Bros. Legendary isn't just the game itself. It's the story of creative risk, genius code, and a few happy accidents that changed everything. It's the proof that with enough passion, a tiny team can make something timeless. So next time you hear the Mario theme or nail a perfect jump, remember, behind the code are real people, legendary stories, and a whole lot of risk. And that's why 40 years later, Super Mario Bros. Is still the king. If you learned something new, hit like and subscribe for more stories from behind the games. What Mario myth do you still wonder about? Drop it in the comments. thanks for watching Veteran Game, where the code is only half the story. See you next time.